All right, so let's take a look at what we have, or where we left off. So essentially, we have like the makings of a first level of a game. What I'd like to do now is take care of this blue area here, and so we can get like so it doesn't look so boring. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We delivered it. We have a portal, but let's go ahead and take care of some background. So let's go ahead and open level 01. And I uploaded onto our learning management system this background. It's called Mushroom Land. I'm going to drop it right here. And I'm just going to scale it up to roughly the size of our perspective, which is 16 by 9. And that's illustrated by this white area. I don't have to skew it. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger here. And then what I can do is off in the side here where it says draw mode simple, I'm just going to make it tiled. And then on the width, I can just kind of drag this out. And I'm going to make it roughly the width of the level. Now, something I want to point out is notice there's some repetitiveness, and that's because my image is tiled. That means these two sides line up perfectly. Like this line ends right where this one begins. And that's why inside of my Unity project, I can tile it like this. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And actually, it should be a little... Well, let's see how it looks when I go from my main menu. Press play here. Start game. We select Sally. And there's a couple things we can do to adjust this. We can grab our main camera and we could play with the height here so that it's framed a little bit better. We just have to remember 6.8. We also have to play with the tiling of this image. We can start it maybe somewhere back here, so beyond this area. And then you just kind of go in and you test it. And there's something else. Notice that our background image, let's see, let's go back to level 01. It is drawing, when we play our game, in front of these, like our power-ups. So let's go find our power-up. So here's our power-up. And actually, let's grab our Mushroom Land background image. We should call this Mushroom Land BK. Now you'll see there's something here called order and layer. The higher the number, the more the longer it's going to be in the front. So for example, if I make this a 1 here, it goes in front of everything because these jump icons are essentially sort order. They're set to 0. So if I grab really everything in here, including the portal, we might have to go 1 by 1 and just say, you know what, I want all of these to be 1. Let's see, this is a actual image. So I'm just going into anything with a sprite render and I'm setting it to 1. And then let's see, Princess Mushroom, these squares. And then I'm going to grab my Mushroom Land background. I'm going to drop that in level art and I'm going to make sure this is set to 0. And then let's do a couple other things. Let's start this way back here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And I recall that we had our camera set to, it's like almost 7. And let's go ahead and just grab one of our characters to test this. So I'm going to go to the PC folder, grab Sally, and then just move her by the spawn point and press play. And you can see now our background really masks everything. And really need to adjust the amount of additional jump force on all of these just to kind of get us through the level. I know these are going to send her skyrocketing, but let's see. You know what? It's got to be like 6.5 or something. Let's move this down a little bit. And then we'll set our camera to 6.5. It's just too jarring to have nothing, like we're not really seeing this part. Let's play with this a little bit. You know what? 5.25? Yeah, that's a bit better. All right, so let's just set this to 5.25. All right. All right, next I want you to upload your hills middle ground picture here. And then once you do that, go ahead and change it from default to Sprite 2D UI and hit apply. And that should get rid of this background here. And this one is also tileable, so go ahead and just drag this in to your level art here, and then just kind of put it above your hills middle ground. Now notice it's behind this, so actually we might have to keep just playing with these numbers. So I'm going to make the sort order of my hills middle ground to 1, so it goes up into the front. And then I'm going to select these jump power icons and the Mushroom King and all that, and make their order and layer a 3 because I want that on top. Now for this hills background image, this is also, or hills middle ground, hills MG. I'm going to go ahead and hit R, and this is just going to be sort of, it's going to help us with breaking up the, notice it's on top of Sally. Sally's going to have to be like order 4 or something. Oops, let's undo that. Sally, actually, I think she should be okay. We'll see what happens. If not, we'll have to go into her Sally art and then make her 4 here. There we go. Now for this, I'm going to make this just a little, we're going to do something called parallaxing in a moment. So this is a very plain one, and you can see in the background there are mushrooms here. And so it's the same thing. We're going to do tiled, and we're just going to take that width and just really tile this out. And so what you'll get is like they'll move at different speeds, you know, things in the background versus the foreground. And we could actually change this and make it a little darker so it offsets it. Or we can make this brighter, but the background a little darker. Something like this. Just adding a little bit of darkness there. And that could kind of differentiate the distance. And actually, to be honest with you, things tend to get lighter. And let me select my camera here and change it from blue to white. Because there's more oxygen between. And so, yeah, so that gives us a little bit more of a look that we have distance there. And then as we're moving around for now, don't worry, we're going to adjust this. Let's see how this plays out. Okay. And I got stuck. There we go. Come on, get me out of here. All right. There's some stuff we need to mess with here. And this will oh, you know what it is? Our little mushroom enemy guys need to be on 3 as well. So, come on, mushroom enemy. Where's the art behind this guy? Here we go. I don't know, we'll just set it on 5 just for the heck of it. All right, I'm going to save that. Now, something else we can do is, notice there's this thing called sorting layers. And what I want is things that are on default, like the mushroom enemy and Sally and stuff. I always want these to be on the default layer. And then any kind of environment or background image, I want it to be on a different sorting layer. So I'm going to click on default here, and I'm going to hit the plus and just name this environment. And then when I go back in here, and let's go ahead and create an empty game object here. And we're just going to call this BK for background. I guess we could do BG for background. Anyway, as long as we have these 2 images here, we could drop it below background. And then we're just going to change the default sorting layer to environment there. And then now this environment sorting layer here, we can set all of those to, I think we had them at, let's see, had that at 0. Let's see, here's default, here's environment. All right, and something else that I kind of needed to do is I need to drag environment over default. So let's go to add sorting layer, and then we're going to grab environment. We're going to put that above default. And now default will always be on top of environment. So it's kind of a step I missed. And let's press play to double check that. Let's make sure we can see our mushrooms and stuff. Yep, looks pretty good. And it looks like there's some sorting going on. Now that mushroom will never get me with our middle ground layer here, because we have this middle ground hills. We have this one set to 0, and we want this to be on 1, so it's in front. And I'm going to hit Control S to save that. All right, now that we have our environment set up, that's it for now. What we'll do in a future video is we're going to write a script to affect the parallax effect. And what that means is different layers of this background image will move at different speeds as we move around or we play our game.